thing that you have to remember, and the one thing that you actually may not know, is that you could be the reason that somebody else is waking up every morning because they hope, because they believe, and that came from you. What's good, y'all? It's Jalen. And, as I think about 2020, man, I'm going to be honest, it's been a crazy year. It's been difficult. And while we're all going through it together, everybody's taking it different. Like, everybody's emotions are being pulled in different ways. Everybody's circumstances are different right now. But the one thing that we will forever have in common is this thing called life. And that's the reason that I wanted to even start this series called Connected to Life. Lately I've been getting a lot of questions about purpose. People just want to know, like, what's my purpose, or how do I find purpose? And I always tell them at least the first step, and I think that is to serve. Like, just take what you like to do. Take what you're passionate about and just go serve. Because purpose is not about you. And every time I give that answer, I tell them this story. I was having a conversation with my mentor, and he asked me 2 questions. And the first question he asked me was, Jalen, what's your passion? And I told him, I like shoes. Every time I had a chance to get some money or a refund check, I was buying some shoes. He said, okay, how can you take your passion and give it back to the world? What's your plan? And I told him, I don't have a plan. He was like, okay, I actually want you to think about that and come up with one. So I go home, I think about it, and I came up with this bright idea to do a shoe drive for my hometown. And it was like one of the best events that I've been able to be a part of. Not because it was just, great and I was doing what I like to do. It wasn't because of that. It was because, I was able to bring my family, my friends, the community, all together to do the one thing that I love to do, and that is to serve people. That's important. And that was this lady from my church. She would always, ever since that event, she would always ask about me. She would always reach out to my parents, send them money to send to me, asking when am I coming home. She was always just eager to see me. And it was around last year, Christmas. She reached out to my parents again and asked them, when is Jalen coming home? And when he does, tell him to come see me. I miss him. So, of course, I go home for Christmas. I see my family, I see my friends, and I go see her. And I remember that day like it was yesterday, man. I got out the car, I'm smiling, I'm happy, I'm going up the steps, I knock on the door, I'm cheesing. She comes out, I'm cheesing even harder. And now we both cheesing at each other. And I could go over that whole story, that whole moment, but it's 2 things that I want to share with you all. The first thing that I want to share with you all from that conversation was the first thing that she told me when she saw me was, Jalen, I love you. And I think that's so important, especially right now. Tell people you love them. The second thing that she told me was, back in that, when I saw you doing the shoe drive, I actually wasn't in the best space. Like, I wasn't in the best place in life. But one thing that I believe in is that in those times when you are down, God sends you people to help you get up out of those places. And that person for me was you. See, when I saw you doing the shoe drive and I saw you giving back to the people, and I just saw your heart. I saw how much you love the community and just love people. That made me feel so much better. But most importantly, it reminded me of my son. He's no longer here with me. He passed away a few years ago. So when I tell you I love you, when I tell you I miss you, I'm not saying it just to say it. I tell you that because you are the one thing that allows me to feel close to my son again. That's why I love you. The reason I share that story is because we're talking about purpose. Again, I tell people to serve. As you see, because I served, it was connected to somebody that I didn't think I knew about. I had no intentions of doing. I had no intentions in that one. And it played out the way it did, and ultimately, we were connected. So again, in this thing called life, we got a lot of differences, a lot of different circumstances, all of that. But I encourage everybody, each and every day, man, get up, take what you like to do, serve, be passionate, serve. Like, just do that. Because the one thing that you have to remember, and the one thing that you actually may not know, is that you could be the reason that somebody else is waking up every morning because they hope, because they believe, and that came from you. So again, man, I just want y'all to serve, and I just want us all to remember that the only thing, if we got all these differences, the one thing that we do have in common is this thing called life. Thank you.
Each feels a beat.